Hi, my name is Amparo Wolf. I grew up in California and in Mexico, and I am a certified interpreter and I work primarily in New Mexico. As an interpreter, my role is to assist anyone who's coming into the court for anything really. It could be getting married, it could be filing for divorce and dealing with custody issues. Sometimes it's criminal, sometimes it's traffic citations. So it kind of runs the gamut, and it's wonderful because I just feel like I always learn something new. We receive emails from the Office of the Courts asking for interpreters, and this email goes to all the interpreters in New Mexico. And also, if they don't have enough interpreters in New Mexico, then the emails go out to folks in Colorado and in Texas. And it's sad because we do have a lot of talent in New Mexico and a lot of bilingual people who we really want to bring aboard. Right now, we only have about 40 Spanish speaking interpreters, a few more in sign language, a few more in other spoken languages, but the need is really big. I think when we know we've done a good job is when the people hearing the English version are nodding and understanding and responding correctly. The worst thing that can happen is I don't understand what the interpreter is saying. And also vice versa, that the judges and the court clerks and everyone is understanding the correct interpretation. It's important. And through classes, one learns that there's a certain register that needs to be used in the courtroom. I was born in California, but my mother had me go back and forth to Mexico. So I lived with extended family. I feel like I was very fortunate in having that bicultural upbringing. I was learning Spanish and only Spanish in Mexico, and then in the States, I was only learning English. So I always had both cultures, both languages with me throughout my life. And I never really understood how that would be an advantage. I just knew it was great, that I really loved it, but I didn't know I could make a career out of it. That moment came when I was in college and we had a speaker come in and talk about it. And I thought, that's amazing. I can use both my languages that I love and help people. And so from that point on is when I started to take courses and become more familiar with the process of becoming a certified interpreter. Well, high school was a difficult chapter in my life because I had been living in Mexico for several years of my young childhood up until middle school. And it wasn't until high school that I started just being here in the States in California. And my mother was a live in housekeeper in a very affluent neighborhood. So I was the minority on many levels, and the kids were not that nice to me. So it was difficult feeling part of a group in high school, but they did have Spanish. They had advanced Spanish classes. So I took those, and that's where I started to form some friendships. And I think what happened at my high school is the teachers and some of the students were very supportive, and I decided that I could go off to college. My mother had other ideas for me. She wanted to marry me off at 18 in Mexico, but I rebelled and went to the school counselor. And I said, I don't think that's a good plan. And he said, no, of course not. Let's get you into college. And so that's what I did. As a result, I felt like I did have the right support system and wonderful people helping me along the way. And then it wasn't until I got to college that I really got to explore more options with different courses of study. And I really like psychology, but I couldn't decide between psychology and Spanish, so I did both. I'm not good enough. I shouldn't apply for that. I shouldn't go for that. I'm not going to get it. Always the self doubt. But when you realize what's going to make me happy, and for me, it was helping people and helping people in Spanish and having a voice heard in the court was something that brought me a lot of satisfaction, because I felt there was so much potential for growth